Board meeting to order. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item is roll call. Anita, if you would do the roll call, please.
Emily Zach. Here. Jennifer Deek. Here. Gary Dunlap.
Here.
Cheryl Hancock.
Here.
I am here. Chris Lau is excused.
He is excused, yep.
Rebecca Reaver. And Brian Wolfat.
Here.
Okay, with 6 of the 7 school board members present, I would declare a quorum. The next item is approval of the agenda. I would note that the agenda has been posted, distributed, and sent to the local media. With this in mind, are there any changes? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as published. Okay, motion by Brian, second by Rebecca. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda as published, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Public participation, I don't have any cards this evening for public participation, so we will move on to the next item, which is recognition and thank you. Dr. Mueller.
Oh, thank you. So this evening, we have two special guests that I wanted to recognize in that. So if Isabella Wang and Haley Hansen can come on up, and you're more than welcome to bring anybody in your family, or if you two just want to come up, and I just would like to share a little bit about you. In that,
If you want to
just come on over here, and if you could just, you can just stand like right here together. Yeah, right here. Well, thank you. Oh, so I'm very fortunate. We have these two young ladies. They go to our middle school in that, and we want to recognize them this evening. They had a great accomplishment. They had the only 2 perfect scores in the whole state of Wisconsin on what's called the Word Master Challenge. And what this is a challenge that tests students' vocabulary and verbal reasoning. So this is high-level critical skills in that. So we are so honored to celebrate them and their accomplishment this evening. And these 2 young ladies are going to be going on to competitions here coming up. Did you have another competition yet? Not quite yet. When is your next competition? Do you know? Next week sometime, yeah. So we just wanted to invite them and wish them luck in their next competition at the national level. And we're so excited that they are representing Holmen in all that we do here. So if we could give them a round of applause. And so here's get a picture with you, and then we will.
You have to join us too, Dr. Mueller.
Yep. And then we just want to thank their parents for sharing these wonderful children with us.
Awesome. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thank you. Congratulations. I actually think I do normally, but so.
All right.
If I could just say before,
go
just,
ahead.
Congratulations also to the families. We know that it, takes a village to help support young ones in doing these accomplishments, and we really appreciate the support that you and their teachers and staff have given them along the way to be successful. So thank you for representing Holmen so well.
Go get 'em.
Yeah. Good luck next week.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
oh, yeah.
What do you guys do to study?
They just. They just know, probably. They're just intelligent young ladies, right?
Maybe we can get their advisors, their
Yeah.
teachers to share some information
Yeah.
on that. But
No.
thank you so much, ladies.
Also, under recognitions, we wanted to thank the Onalaska Knights of Columbus. They donated some dollars to our Project Live program, and we are very gracious for and appreciate their support for the Adaptive Sport League and Project Live. And then this week is our Bus Driver Recognition Week. We are so thankful for the drivers we have and all that they do. they have definitely had to go above and beyond, just driving a bus these past couple of years, and we're very thankful for everything they've done, from delivering meals and people, places, and even, making sure our students are safe, not only on the ride, but safe with COVID and the health, and with the masks that the kids are wearing. But then also, we have our new director, Dan Garrett, and we want to thank him for his leadership in that. He's transitioned into that role. And also, I don't want to, I'd be remiss if I forgot to thank and recognize our mechanic, John, who has been making sure our buses are safe and can stay on the road. So we thank him for that also. And then lastly, next week is our National FFA Recognition Week. We always look forward to that. We never know what that group has up their sleeve to do for us in celebration of that. So we want to celebrate that. It's a week-long tradition that began in 1947, and we look forward to celebrating the legacy of our agriculturalists and farmers in the region. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So then moving on to reports and discussions. The first item is the school counselor's presentation. And I just want to acknowledge as they're coming up, I believe last week was School Counselors Week, and I appreciate Travis for having them highlighted on our district webpage or our district Facebook page, and just want to say to you, thank you for all that you do for our students. Just last week, we visited with my granddaughter's counselor and preparing her 4-year plan for high school, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But it was awesome. And the best thing, you do these extra touches. They presented her with her packet that she filled out as a 4th grader. And it's just such a nice, extra kind of touch. And so I just really appreciate it. I know her dad did too, so thank you.
All right, so I am Amanda Jensen. I'm one of the high school counselors representing my team, and I have 2 other people behind me, Mrs. Franzini, Heather Franzini, and Hannah Nickum. We're all from the high school. So last week was National School Counseling Week. The district did a great job of recognizing all the counselors that we have here in Holmen. In our building, we received treats, thank you notes from colleagues. We had some students come put sticky notes on our doors. It was definitely a great bucket filler last week. And so this presentation, kind of every year around National School Counseling Week, we want to come to the board and just share the things that we are doing moving forward. The plan is that each level will kind of give a presentation. So this year you have the high school kind of sharing things that we are doing.
Ooh.
All right, so school counselors have master's degrees. We're trained in mental health, child development, and career development. It's recommended that schools follow a 250-to-1 school counselor to student ratio in their programs. And we follow standards from the American School Counseling Association. They have standards called Mindsets and Behaviors, and we use those to help guide and outline services that we provide to students. These standards help us deliver a comprehensive program that serves all students in the domains of academic, career, and social emotional support. We use short-term solution-focused counseling and refer out to the community as needed for more intensive mental health needs. This slide is just an example of ways that we meet academic, career, and social emotional supports with our students at the high school. We give this out to all incoming 9th graders in our welcome letter, and then also any new students that come in throughout the school year, just to kind of let them know that we are vital members of the education team, and we want to help all students in those areas of academic achievement, career, and social emotional development, just to make sure that we are kind of working toward that goal of making sure our students leave our school as people that are going to be helpful in society and our community around us. So some things that we are doing at the high school, so universally trying to meet the needs of all students, we use the Youth Risk Behavior Survey data, and then we also give a needs assessment every other year. So the Youth Risk Behavior Survey happens, and then on the opposite year of that, we give a needs assessment at the high school. We use this data to help form where are some gaps, what are things that we need to give to our students, and so universally, we have found that we are giving a suicide prevention lesson plan to all students in 9th grade health. And we share that youth risk behavior survey data with them. Some of our first slides are, here's Wisconsin's data, here's Holmen's data, tell us the differences, like talk to us about the graphs and things that you're seeing, and use that information to give that back to students and say, this is why we're in the classroom, this is why this is important. Want to have them see that real life data that we are getting from them. So the same is true for that next bullet with the 10th grader lesson for SEL. We have collaborated with the Language 10 department and again, use youth risk behavior survey data to share with students what are some things and some gaps with like anxiety and other mental health needs in our building, and then tie that back to a book that they're reading in the classroom called The Sun Does Shine, which is about a man who was wrongfully convicted, and then talk about like how are those challenges that he went through similar to what you might be going through in terms of social emotional learning, and how can we help build positive coping skills. So that data is very important to us as we use that to develop our lessons. There's other things up there that we do, like 4-year planning, like Cheryl just mentioned. We just got done at the high school doing that with all of our 9th and 10th graders, just to help plan and prepare for that upcoming registration. In 9th grade, also for transition, we do weekly check-ins in term 1 and halfway through term 2 with all of our 9th graders. Every Thursday and Friday, we are down in the language arts wing, meeting with every single 9th grader, trying to get to know them and build that relationship right away and help with that transition. Junior meetings, we just finished up that. We call it junior meeting season at the high school. But that's where we meet with all of our juniors and talk to them and listen to them about what they want to do after high school. That might be that they want to go to college, but it might also be that they want to get into a youth apprenticeship or have a job after high school. Whatever that need is for that student, we talk about resources and things that we can do to help provide them and help reach their goals. Senior check-ins is kind of a follow-up to a junior meeting, but we meet with all of our seniors in the fall and go through, again, what are you thinking you want to do after high school? Do you have the resources you need to meet that? And try to help with that process as well. And then advisory lessons, we universally give in September information about Suicide Prevention Month. And then in May, we do mental health awareness. We do activities every single week of May. We bring in people from the community, like Burn Boot Camp has come before, and we have staff who also lead some different fun activities through advisory. But we have a lot of different things we do in that month to promote positive mental health awareness. And then Winter Blues happens right after winter break. Again, just letting kids know that they're not alone. There are plenty of things we can do, like go to activities within the school. Maybe we can get outside and go do things and just let them know if they need help and support. We are here for them. So that's kind of universally a lot of the big things we do. Small groups are also offered to students, kind of like the next tier down. Again, using that youth risk behavior survey data and our needs assessment. Kids could choose or self-refer themselves to any of the groups listed up there. Staff have referred students, parents have referred students, obviously us as counselors have referred students, and those groups meet anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks during the school day, again, providing a resource and support. Then kind of on the next level, individual counseling, we meet with students individually as much as we can, kind of focusing on that solution-focused area. Again, this is short-term. We are not long-term mental health providers, but can, in short doses, try to help students with what they need with mental health, kind of with that focus of trying to get through school days and focus on academics as well. If there is a need for longer-term counseling or supports, we definitely refer out to other community organizations. And then something in our office that we talk about quite often is just that increase in mental health kind of through COVID, things that we are seeing in terms of student behaviors as well. And so we are doing a lot of collaboration, not that we weren't before, but it's heavy now. One example is that functional family therapy. This is a group that Peace of Mind is offering. So we have met with them and talked about that referral process and referring students and families out to things like that. We are so excited for the mental health position that is coming at the high school, or I shouldn't say high school, district-wide. We would love it to be just at the high school. And then the SEL position as well. And I would also add the expansion of the school social worker position. These are all awesome supports that we can provide and have in our district to help with, we at the high school call an integrated team. I mean, we can really help students if we have all of these things in place. There is Sheila. That's probably one of the better things in our office. So Thursdays and Fridays, she comes into our building. That's Mrs. McCoy. She's one of our PE teachers. Therapy dog. So we are often collaborating with families, caregivers, teachers, administrators, all those community organizations, and doing referrals. And then Sheila is an added bonus and benefit there in our office. So we do a lot in terms of just helping promote, helping make positive change in our building, always trying to help with the students' best interests in mind to try to make positive differences in our school. Some challenges, basically the biggest thing would be the caseload. So we currently have about 314 students to each one of the 4 counselors. We have an open door policy, so we want kids to come in whenever they need anything. And the challenge to that is that we are in classrooms. You know, I listed a couple slides ago all those different things we're doing in and out of the school day. And sometimes with individual counseling, like, we aren't available. So that does get a little bit difficult. And I would say that the understanding of the role, this many in the 90s, not many years ago, but in the 90s, you heard guidance counselor very often, and still today that's something that people use. And we really have tried to rebrand that and say student services in our office and in our district, because we are more than just guiding people and students into their careers. It's social emotional, it's careers, it's academic, it's every little thing. So we do a lot more than what many people view as a guidance counselor from the past. And then the last kind of really positive thing here is that with the referendum, we were able to get kind of a remodel in our office. And so we have our 4 counselors together, our career counselor, our school psych is in our office, our school social worker, our nurse is not that far away. If anyone's been in the building, we kind of have this nice little hub. And our administrators are right down the hallway. We often joke that the pathway kind of down there is very well beaten down. But this is our integrated team. This is what makes things successful in the high school, having all of these people close together and using these resources to help students. The last thing there is that picture of our sensory room. This is an awesome space where students can come in. They might use a fidget, they might color. There is breathing exercises in there. Whatever they think they need, they can have a 5 to 10 minute break to be able to kind of refocus, use some healthy coping skills, and head back to class. Another just great addition into our office. So that is everything we have to share tonight. We thank you all for your support and continued support for our role, for our students, and thank you for having us tonight.
Well, thank you all. First, are there any questions? Again, please know that you are very much appreciated by us, and especially in some of these trying times. And we know that you step up. I know, in addition to what you said that you do, that some of you serve on committees, and it's invaluable for you to share your expertise with us as some of our board committees. So I do appreciate that, and wanted to say thank you as well for that. So thank you so much for the presentation.
Thanks.
Okay, then we will move on to health insurance options. And I know Julie and Crystal and Janice are going to present.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So tonight we're going to present, we're here annually in February with some health insurance information, group health insurance benefits, and some other related benefits for employees. So we're here again to present on some information in anticipation of our July 1st renewal for employee benefits. With me is Crystal Mott, Director of Business Services, and Janice Walvra, our Corporate Benefits Specialist from the Insurance Center. So just a real quick note, added this slide in here last year as well, just so you understand the Insurance Center and their mission and core values. Janice does an amazing job for us. She's been with the Holmen School District for many years as our Corporate Benefits Specialist. And I don't know if everyone knows like just how much Janice is doing behind the scenes for our employees, and so I'd like to recognize her and thank her for that. She is available for any employee that has even interest in coming on the plan and not quite sure if they want to compare maybe benefits of their spouse compared to what Holmen Schools offers, or if they're anticipating retirement and age 65 and need to enroll in Medicare, questions on EOBs from the insurance company, which can be really challenging to read sometimes, and she's always available, as is Sarah Wolin, our benefits specialist. But Janice has been a great asset for this district, so we enjoy working with her.
So in the next several slides, we'll review our plan design and rates, loss ratios, promotions, premium stability, employee and employer premium changes, our plan comparisons and considerations, and then some recent accomplishments. So we start with a 2-year history of our plan. Again, our plan is a high deductible with health savings account or HSA compatible plan. A friendly reminder that the district does contribute to the employee's HSA account, which is not a requirement, but an added benefit for our group health and total benefit plan. We contribute to the HSA a base benefit of $750 for single coverage or $1,500 for family plan participants. And then in coordination with our wellness program, participants have an opportunity to receive additional employer contributions. The maximum contribution with the wellness benefit is $1,500 for single, $2,250 for family but with one spouse participating, or $3,000 for a family with both spouses participating. You'll see here, and you may recall that we did bid our insurance plans last year. We did receive a favorable bid in the health plan, which allowed us to maintain the same plan design and experience a slight decrease in our premium noted on the bottom there.
And when you say total monthly premium, just for everyone, that's the total premium. It's not the employee's part, it's the total.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, this slide is a side-by-side comparison of the loss ratio for 2020 and 2021. The plan year for the district's benefits runs July 1st through June 30th, but for comparable purposes, each year we present to you a calendar year because there's a delay in the processing of those claims. So when we look at the claims for 2021 for October, November, and December, when we present an update on this information, those numbers could increase because of the claim lag from when a date of service incurred and when that claim was actually processed. So from an underwriter's perspective, when they're looking at loss ratio and then looking at the renewals each and every year, they look at about a 2+ year renewal, looking at claims incurred, high risks that are incurred. So that's pretty much what they look at to determine what the renewal will be each year. So you'll see that there is a slight increase from 2020 to 21. A carrier likes to be in about that 85% loss ratio, so we're a little bit above that. But again, the last 3 months could adjust accordingly once those additional claims have been processed. This is just another way of looking at the claims for you. The blue line represents the premiums that have been paid, and the orange line reflects the claims that have been paid. And with your plan, as Crystal mentioned, it's a high deductible health plan, so that claims includes both medical and prescriptions are all combined because of the way your plan is designed. So across the top of each year, it does show you what that loss ratio has been. And again, the carriers like to be in, their target is 85%. So we've had some really good years and a couple years that exceeded the target. As far as promotions, what we're referring to is what I call some of the value-added services that are provided either through WCA Group Health Trust, which is your carrier, or some of the additional resources that we've provided the district. So the first one is Teledoc, and the Teledoc is a virtual visit that can be done 24/7. So instead of If you're home at night, you're settled in, instead of running to the clinic setting, they can do a virtual visit with a physician. So it's more convenient and certainly a lot less dollars for the employee and any family members that are enrolled. Telehealth is different. Telehealth is a scheduled appointment, but it's a virtual. So over the last couple of years, telehealth has become more promoted because individuals did not want to go in a clinic setting, but it gave you an opportunity to do a virtual visit with your primary care physician. And that is going to be added to your plan effective July 1st as part of your regular plan instead of an add-on. HSA education, a number of years ago, the district elected to add a high deductible health plan, and through that process, we've continued to provide education to the employees on the value of an HSA, from a tax savings to preparing for retirement. So it's something that we feel is very important to continue on a year-to-year basis. The neighborhood family clinic and the community care clinic are it's a part of your health insurance plan. And what it is any employee and family member that's enrolled in the health insurance plan can utilize our cash clinics in our community at no cost. So a couple advantages. First of all, it does not apply to your employees' deductibles or out of pocket. It helps preserve their HSA accounts. And those dollars that are spent at the cash clinics do not impact your loss ratio, because WCA pays those out separately from the report that I just shared with you earlier. So the more that employees can take advantage of our cash clinics, again, it's a lower cost option. They take same-day appointments, so it's very convenient as well. The Good RX is an independent website that we promote where an individual can enter their name of their prescription, and it'll tell you the lower cost pharmacy in the area to purchase that prescription. It does vary drastically by some of our pharmacies in our area, because with your health plan, the way it's designed, it's important for employees and their family members to shop for lower cost prescriptions. The EAP is an employee assistance program. We've seen a real uptick in employees and family members wanting to use EAP programs, especially over the last couple of years. It is something that we help promote through Epic, which is your current carrier for your EAP program. So we want the employees and their families to be aware of that. And that's to any district employee, not just those on the health insurance plan. And then we have Real Appeal, which Julie's going to cover in just a minute. And then the Retiree Medicare education. And this is something we started probably about 5 years ago, and we usually do it in March or April, where we invite employees and their families that are considering retiring from the district or they're approaching age 65, so that we can provide education on the differences between the group health insurance plan, what does Medicare look like, and how to prepare for those changes going forward.
So just to piggyback on that, we offer that here in the district for anyone interested in learning more about the retiree and Medicare education, and then individually they can also meet with Janice and share their own individual story in private. So it's kind of a mass education piece plus individual. So this is a new slide this year. We thought it was important to share with you some history on premium stability in the group plan for the employees in the school district. So this is a 10-year history on both employee and employer premium, dating back to the 2012-13 plan year. The gray is the employer, and the maroon bar is the employee, and the red is the average market increase of 6% over the last 10 years. I'm going to show you each of those just a little bit bigger so you can see them. So this is the single premium chart for the last 10 years. And you can see there that there was quite a bit of stability in the rate for our employees. We do pay, the employer pays 85%, employee pays 15% of the premium if they're eligible for the full contribution for single or family based on their hours worked. And just a demonstration of the stability that we have had. This one is the family premiums, same chart, only for family totals. One thing, if you've been on the board for a while, you would remember that we did migrate to a high deductible healthcare plan in about 2017, is that right? Correct. So I know when I came to the district, we had 2 plans, 3 plans, and we had 4 plans, and then we migrated out of several, and we currently have the one high deductible healthcare plan. And so you can tell from the last several years that it is the HSA plan that we currently have. And you can also see where the premiums went up, which would align with the utilization and loss ratio that was previously shared by Janice.
So then the next couple of slides have been included in previous presentations. We're including them here just as a reminder that we bring these actual figures in our upcoming presentation when we do have our renewal rates. This slide does focus or will demonstrate the employee premium change and whether there will be an increase or a decrease in their portion of the premium. And again, as Julie just mentioned, they pay 15% of that total premium. The next, again, would include the employer changes, again, to be updated once we receive our renewal figures. Again, we do pay 85% of the health insurance premium. And then there are some other components listed here. As I mentioned before, we do contribute to the employee's HSA account, so we do include those figures. We also do have the costs for the Wellness Alternative Benefit Plan, or ABP. We're just one of 3 districts in the MVC plus 3 that offers that cash in lieu benefit. And then some of the other figures, they're all based on current participation numbers that we do have, but include figures from our health risk assessment costs as well. So again, to be updated in the next presentation when we have our final renewal information.
Okay, each year we obtain the health information from the districts that are within the MVC plus 3, and that comparison was provided to you in your packet. And also, we always look at the private sector as well, so it's always important to see how you compare to likable districts in the area, and also when we look at the private sector. So in summary, 1 of 8 offered a lower deductible than Holmen's, and your current deductible is $15,000 for single and $3,000 for family. 1 of 8 offer a HRA, which is a health reimbursement arrangement, or a HSA, which is your health savings account benefit that's higher than Holmen's. 2 of 8 do not offer an employer benefit, so that's not required. It's optional, so it's a very nice benefit that the district has always incorporated in your plan, depending on if it was an HRA or an HSA contribution. 3 of 8 offer the same coinsurance as Holmen, and what coinsurance is the next level after you meet your deductible. The district's is 80%, which means the health plan covers 80, the members responsible for 20%. 7 out of 8 pay 80 to 88% of the premium, and as Julie mentioned, Holmen pays 85% of the monthly premium. 4 of 8 offer a lower maximum out of pocket than Holmen. $4,000 and $8,000 is your current plan. And again, it depends on the plan being offered. When you looked at the comparison that we prepared for you, there are some districts that offer more than one plan, which can impact the deductible and the out-of-pocket. And only 1 of 8 allows an in-network only plan. When you look at the private sector, you can tell that certainly is much different than the school districts in our area. Most private employers have all migrated to an HMO-type plan, meaning that all employees and family members must use a provider that's in-network because it is a lower-cost option. Employees are responsible to pay a larger portion of the premium when you're in the private sector. Most plans have higher deductibles and higher out-of-pockets, and only 1 out of 6 private employers contribute to the HSA. So when you compare your benefits, compared not to only the districts in our area, but also the private sector, I think the districts should be very proud of the benefits that you offer.
Can I ask a question before you move on? The 4 out of 8 that offer lower max out-of-pocket, I mean, is it $1 lower? Is it $1,000 lower? You don't have to answer that now. I just would be curious about that.
It is in the comparison, the separate document that was provided. So you do have access to that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know we don't know off the
Right.
top of our head. I would have to
I get
also
that.
look.
Yeah, it just,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like 50/50.
Yeah, so if you
For-
look at
where
the
this-
comparison document for the MVC plus 3, it should be on there.
Okay,
Let me know if you need
yes. I
help
will.
finding
Thank
it,
you.
okay?
The districts that have the HMO plans, they typically would have a lower deductible, but plans that offer both in and out of network, they're going to have comparable deductibles, but then at the bottom of that comparison, it also lists if there's an HSA contribution. So that, you know, you take that against that net.
Yeah, is there any way to do that comparison? So of those four, do any of them offer the HSA? I mean, that
Oh.
would be of interest to know, because if they don't, then we're really kind of equalized out with them.
Yep, so in each one of those examples, it'll say whether or not they offer an HRA or HSA, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And for the 2022 and 23 plans, we're looking at trying to retain the same plan as the current. So that would mean no disruption in the actual benefit structure. The district could look at modifying their network. It's always been the district's direction to provide a carrier that offers a broader network. And your plan that you offer does include both Gunderson and Mayo as an in-network provider, so employees and families have choice of where they access care. With regard to modifying the plan, their plan has 2 different networks that are available to all employees, and there is a difference in that network discount. So that is something that we can certainly look at depending on where the renewal comes in. So we will report back to you on that a little bit later.
So some recent accomplishments. We are in the second year of using Employee Navigator for online benefits enrollment. This seems to have been very successful migration to this. We used to do everything in paper. Lots of forms exchanged, a lot of manual input. And so it just seems to be very, very easy to navigate, and it's available to all of our employees that are enrolling in employee benefits upon hire, and then annually for open enrollment, they would go back in and elect. And it has like a wizard, so if you're not eligible, it shouldn't give you things to choose from that you're not eligible to pick, for example. At that same time, we are in the second year of adding all state voluntary plans for critical illness, accident, and cancer plans. Those are voluntary, but again, they're available to our employees through Employee Navigator when they are enrolling in their benefits. Janice talked a little bit about the cash clinics that are available in our area, including one that was opened up right on 35. And OT, within the last 2 years, I think
Right.
that one has opened, and it's very convenient for people that work and live in Holmen. Teledoc Utilization, she also mentioned, so we do have a couple repeats here on recent accomplishments. But that one is really nice for remote, non-appointment input from a physician. I know that my own daughter used it when she was away in college in North Dakota, and that was a really easy way for her to access and feel more comfortable with what she needed at the time without being here in the area. This past year, the wellness participation, so in 2021, our employees engaged in the wellness participation for their HSA, maximum HSA contribution, or for their maximum ABP, which is the cash in lieu, for this current plan year. So these numbers are last year's participation for the current eligibility. 583 participants in Wellable. Wellable is a program that we went to because of our closure and pandemic and COVID, which was a virtual or online wellness effort, and so we did have 583 participants in that. We went away from the Helix for 2 years because of that, so that's under discussion, but that's what Wellable is. We had 415 total employees eligible for the maximum level of wellness benefit. This includes both HSA employer contributions and the wellness ABP. And then 58% of our HSA employees also contribute to their own pre-tax through payroll to their HSA account. So both the district contribution and their own payroll deduction to help maximize that pre-tax savings for future medical. And next is the Real Appeal program. So in November, this came on board for a opportunity for our employees on our health plan or their spouses, so anyone over the age of 18. And this is a practical weight loss related support, I'll say, virtual support, 52-week program. This is completely voluntary to our employees, and those that are on our health insurance plan were notified of this opportunity both in November and again in January. We kicked it off again with like a New Year's resolution in case anybody missed it in November. But it's been popular. We've received some feedback. We had, lost my notes, I think 18 employees enroll in November and December. Janice has received some confidential feedback, thank yous for offering this opportunity. It does run through our health insurance with UMR, but it is at no cost to the employee. So it's been a really nice addition and voluntary option for them. Anything else to say about Real Appeal? All right, are there any questions?
Are there any questions? I don't see any, so thank you so much, and I know a lot of information keeps coming, but it's good to have this so that we can go build from there, so thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, then the next item, and I would just note that also was just for information only, report only. Summer school plans is the next thing. Nick Bakke, Guy Turner, and Sue Eitland are here for this evening. Again, report only, updates, plans, that kind of thing.
You should be good to go. You guys go ahead, you're the.
Thank you.
Good evening. We have our summer school administrative team here with us this evening. We have Sue Eitland at the elementary, Guy Turner at the middle, Nick Bakke at the high school. His team's been really busy preparing summer school plans. And so with that, I'll turn it over to them to tell you what we can look forward to this summer.
Thank you.
So for elementary summer school, we are planning on having it July 11th through the 28th at Sand Lake Elementary School. So I just wanted to go through some program changes since last summer. So what we've been doing at the elementary level is rotating which school we have summer school so that all the kids can have it at their school at some point in their elementary career. Our schedule for Ready, Set, Let's Learn, we attempted last year to have it in all of the schools so they could attend wherever they were going to school. Unfortunately, we didn't have sufficient staffing to be able to make that work out very well. So we are going back to having Ready, Set, Let's Learn for incoming kindergarten students at the same time and on the same dates, the same location as regular kindergarten through fourth grade elementary summer school. And then last year we had, if you recall, there was free lunch offered, and so we had some students remain at summer school, and then in the afternoon we had a double dose session. Thankfully, we've been able to maintain in-person learning, so this year we are not planning on having the double dose since we've been able to maintain that. So our focus areas, closing the gap. Every student in kindergarten through grade 4 will have, that's current kindergarten through grade 4, will have math and reading, and then they'll have an enrichment class. The enrichment class, again, is focused on, there has to be some component of social emotional learning embedded in that. For Ready, Set, Let's Learn, they stay with the same teacher and an education assistant the entire morning, and then any kind of enrichment or projects is incorporated right into that time together. So, and then the enrichment classes that are offered will, of course, be listed in our course book. So for Ready, Set, Let's Learn, again, students must be entering kindergarten in the fall of 2022, and all students will take reading, math, and one enrichment class that is offered at their grade level. So. Turn it over to Guy for middle school.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Yes.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
We've been really busy at the middle school getting ready for our transition. As noted by Ms. Island here, is that July 28th is our ending date. Normally, we've gone into that first week of August, and so with feedback from our staff that we had last year and really trying to support our staff during the month of July, we've worked in conjunction for those dates. So that's probably one thing to know for both of our programs here. Our areas, with a lot of feedback that was given last year, again, looking at some of our schedules here, closing the gaps, looking for a 90-minute block for both ELA and math that would be provided for incoming 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, where we do have a enrichment opportunity or extension opportunity for students to pursue a little bit deeper dive within ELA and math, those teachers working together in the programming, but then also providing an opportunity for another opportunity for an elective or an enrichment window for 2 classes. As we've done in the past, we'll run in conjunction band and orchestra at that time. Historically, we've had classes that range from technology to art, makerspace, but this and wellness or kind of like a Phi-Ed component. But this last year, we just had a staff member reach out with a proposal for an elective course with mindfulness, with really an emphasis on SEL. And so being mindful of this, we will have these components going on for the middle school. As far as our mandatory school board approved grade level advancement for 8th grade to 9th grade, we will run that in conjunction as well. Last year, we really worked hard in providing that for 24 students, and this year, with being able to reintroduce some of our daily interventions for our systems for our students at the middle school, I do believe our numbers will reflect a lower need for that, which is great, but then also hopefully having that opportunity for those students to have more opportunities for 8th grade into 9th grade with what Mr. Bakke will be sharing here shortly. For staffing needs, all of ours are primarily, we'll be working with HR here shortly to get those posted, but they're definitely mirroring a lot of our needs that we have had in recent years. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So the high school, we run 2 different sessions, so it looks a little bit different than what the other levels do. This was something that we've kind of revamped over the past couple of years. I actually presented on it when we brought some numbers to you guys after we completed summer school this past fall. So we run one session, session 1, that's from June 7th to the 30th. Those are the courses that you can see in front of you that we run. We've really shifted because of COVID and actually because of just teacher practices and how well they've developed online courses and trying to be flexible with families to really be doing a lot more of a virtual option for families. The 2 courses that you see up there, oral communications and totally fit wellness, both of the potential candidates that we're going to be looking at for those positions want to run more of a blended format. They feel that it's really imperative that the students come in and demonstrate some either actual speeches in front of their peers or obviously some physical fitness in order to be able to meet those course outcomes. The rest of those courses that you see in session 1 would be delivered virtually for students. So they can be remote, the students can be on vacation, they can be really where they need to be in the summer, but yet still be able to earn some of those credits. All of those classes are requested by students. We've actually already begun that process. That's something we shifted 2 years ago. One thing we found out, we used to run requests for summer school at the high school after they did course registration. So what happens, kids would actually double register for courses. And so they would register for their classes next year, and then they would also register for summer school, which threw our numbers off from an FTE. And so we've shifted that. So all of those session 1 courses actually have already been completed by students. We're taking a look at those numbers this week and hoping to be able to finalize those. As you can see, session 2, this is something again that we've kind of shifted over the past couple of years. This used to be exclusively online credit recovery for students, so they would have to take Plato classes, was our platform, or Edmentum, that we would use for students to recover. However, we've been very blessed. We've had staff that have dedicated time to come in and actually work with students, and to a large credit to the teachers in our district in developing our PLC process and getting better at what our priority standards are. Students, when they come now for recovery sections, they only work on the priority standards that they have not been able to master. So in the past, they would have to take a whole class over, and now because of our grading practices and our teaching preps, they can say and look at different assessments and say, no, you know what, they mastered most of these outcomes, but they missed this one particular area. So then those students can work on just that area. When they complete that mastery, they've earned that credit back, and then they can continue on with their credits. What's important to note there is kind of how we've set that up. We've kind of went back and looked at percentages. We don't feel a student that earns a 30% in a class, for example, should come in and maybe do 1 to 2 tests because they really haven't demonstrated to us that they know enough to probably do sincere mastery. So we've looked at roughly that 40 to 50% is kind of the threshold. So a student has to earn below passing, but they can't be below that 50 or 40. Again, it depends on where the numbers are in order for have this opportunity awarded to them. We actually enroll those students automatically. This is a way for us to try to reach out more students. So we enroll all of those students. We notify those families that this is an opportunity that we have for them to try to take advantage to stay on credit or on pace with their credits. And then it's more of an opt-out. So it's set up for them to come and take care of the credits and the things that they need to be able to be on pace for graduation. One thing we were not able to do last year that we're really excited about this year in the view or the lens of equity is we are looking at offering transportation for those credit recovery sections. One of the things that we realized last year was there was a lot of families that were interested. However, when we reflected on equity, the barrier was transportation. Families were working, students weren't able to get to school to be able to do those things. So we're working with transportation and hoping that we can have enough staffing to be able to get kids in the seats that really want to do that to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. And then the last one, enrichment. We will continue our enrichment options for students for band, choir, and orchestra as well through session 2. So those are all the things I have for updates for the high school.
Questions?
I do have one question real quick with the recovery credit. How successful was that last year?
Actually, I don't have the numbers in front of you right now, but I can arbitrarily tell you very good. We did this 2 years ago comparative to last year. So 2 years ago, it was all virtual. We found out that credit recovery in a virtual setting was not the best practice, but we didn't have anything else to do. That was the summer of 2020 where we were shut down, right? And so last year, then we started it face-to-face. I should have noted that, so I appreciate you bringing that up. So students in the recovery sections actually come in, work with the teachers in the seats on their labs, on their assessments, on their projects. And we had a high success rate for the students that showed up. We had about 145 students that we enrolled, and I have statistics or the data on how many credits were earned back and what the success rate, but it was successful. Far better than when we tried to do it just virtual.
Can I ask about those students? You said that this is available for those that are in the 40 to 50%. What happens with the students below that?
Yeah, great question. So if a student earns below that threshold, they're asked to retake the whole course. And that's been the standard practice before we even allowed this recovery. And again, going back to our process for course development, before we got ourselves in line and all biology classes were the same and they're doing the same assessments and they're looking at the same priority standards, it was really up to whoever's grade book was what, and it was really hard for us to track that. Whereas now we have one teacher works with the science recovery courses and teaches all of the different sections. I think I actually might have a slide, I do not. If you go on the website and you go to families and you go to summer school and you go to high school, you'll actually see all the courses that we offer under the science umbrella, under the math umbrella. But again, the number we kind of came up in collaboration with the teachers, say like, where do you guys, what number do you think the threshold is? And we set it at 50%, but we noticed that a lot of students, if they were in that 45 or maybe even a 40 range, they could still do that. And the teacher felt really, they approved that they felt that would work.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Then the next item, and again, this was for information only. So memorandum of understanding, Jill Mason. And this is on the 228 consent agenda. And it's about peace of mind counseling, who the leader of Peace of Mind is? Jay Clark?
Jay Clark, yes.
Which is a name, not the Jay Clark we all know.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So we have
been obviously talking a lot about how we're using our ESSER dollars here, and one of the things that we have decided is to use it for a mental health provider from our community. In doing so, we had a little bit of difficulty finding someone because typically the providers in the community are able to have their own schedules. So it's hard to commit to a school day schedule. They're able to see kids all over the place, but then if they need to take off half of a day, they just don't schedule themselves that day. So we've been working really hard to try to figure out how we're going to accommodate this. And in talking with Jay from Peace of Mind, we decided we don't have a referral pathway yet. So we really need to develop that as a district and put some systems in place. As you heard tonight, we have wonderful providers, we have an awesome staff, we have some really great resources, but we don't have a pathway to get us from social emotional learning in the universal setting to mental health services in schools or outside. Peace of Mind has a lot of providers that are in our schools and have been in our schools for many years. I've worked with Peace of Mind in a different district too, so they're a lot of places. So they're really a great agency to work with, and in talking with them, we decided that this year, instead of having a full-time mental health provider, we would contract with one of the providers to help us develop the pathway. And so what that provider is going to do is be on site and working with our team to look at our social and emotional learning curriculum and resources, and simultaneously developing a mental health referral pathway so that when we are when we have kiddos, we know where we need to contract, or if they can see the provider here. And then the intent and the goal would be that next fall, we're able to contract with an agency for a full-time mental health provider, and we're all set and ready to go. So this year, it just looks a little bit different because we don't have a lot of time and we weren't able to find a full-time provider. And I think it actually worked out to our benefit anyway.
And this will be on the next meeting's consent, so if you have any questions, you can ask now, otherwise reach out to Dr. Mueller and she would be happy to get the response. Okay, good. Well, I think that's it. The next items are the consent agenda, which we have 5 items. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as published, unless you wouldn't want to have any pulled out and considered separately. Move to approve as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Anita. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda items as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Then we'll move on to board members' reports and discussions. What did I miss?
Yeah, well, I'd like to share about some retirements. It's that
Oh,
time
I'm
of
so
year.
sorry. Yes,
And I
you
just think it's
usually are
really
sitting
important to
here.
do recognitions. Usually I can give you a bump.
Yes, please,
Yeah.
under the personnel report. Yes.
Yeah, please. So just wanted to recognize some of our staff that will be retiring after the end of the year. And so I'm going to start with Patty Abraham, 43 years of service in the district. She is at Sand Lake. She's our phys ed teacher over there. And then we have John Aspeson. He's been a teacher at the high school, 35 years of service in our district. It's always outstanding, a number of years of service that they dedicate to and commit to our students in the district. Mona Gardner, music teacher at Evergreen. She'll be retiring, 22 years of service. And then Karita Bowers, a teacher at the high school, 19 years of service. And then Jill Avalos, teacher at Viking, 26 years of service. So we thank all of them for all their years and commitment to our students. And as they know, they can always come back and help us out anytime they would like to, because they do a wonderful job. So thank you. Just wanted to make sure we recognize them.
I'm sorry I missed seeing you to
Yep.
go there, so thank you so very much. Some real big shoes to fill from those retirements. So then, moving on to board member reports and discussion, I'll call on board members in the order of roll call and ask that you present any comments or committee reports that you may have. So I'll begin with Emily. Zach?
I guess I'll congratulate all the retirements. I know my music teacher is retiring, so it's kind of almost like geez, it's been a few years. So yeah, that was surprising. And then all the counselors, all the student services, all they do for our school. I mean, you walk into the student services, that area, and you're just like, it's like, what do you need? What do you need? What can I do? And it's just like, they are so helpful. And I mean, when I get confused on what I'm supposed to do to prepare for after high school, they are just an amazing resource for our school. I just can't say enough good things about them. Also, our wrestling team is going to sectionals tomorrow, so that's really exciting. We just had regionals in Baraboo, and we have 13 out of 14 individual sectional that are going to individual sectionals. And I think the recovery credits was super. I had no idea that was even an option for students until tonight, which I was like, wow, I think that's awesome that we offer that. And then the obvious, you don't have to wear masks at school anymore. And I mean, when I found out that news on Friday, I was like running around like to school. Like I'm not even lying. It was a really just awesome day today and on Friday and just all weekend. I was so excited to come to school. I was like, so cool. And I mean, there was an overwhelming majority of people who chose not to wear a mask, and there were still a couple of people who did, which is totally fine. And I do that education practicum class at Viking, and the principal made like an announcement. They do like the morning announcements, and she like made a reminder to be respectful to everyone, like no matter their choice, which I thought was a good reminder for those students because they really don't understand, like us high schoolers do. But it's always a good reminder just to be respectful to everyone, no matter their choice. And it was just really an amazing day to see everybody. And I mean, of course, we get to be in person, and like that's awesome too. It's just like it's almost just like a different energy today, and it was just like almost indescribable. I don't know, it was just weird and different and good. So just hoping it stays that way, I guess. Yeah, that's it.
Hey, thank you, Emily. It's so good to hear from a student, the counselor comment and feedback, because I think Holmen, we do try to have a higher number of counselors per students, even though we aren't within the numbers that's recommended.
And when I heard what like the ratio was, I was like, that's just phenomenal how they can function with so many students to almost be responsible for, it seems. And they just do an amazing job. And I know like, when I go in there, like sometimes they're all out of the office working with like people, and I mean everyone is just so helpful in there no matter what you need. So just can't say enough good things, really.
It's just nice to hear it firsthand from a student, so thank you for that. Okay, then Jennifer Deek.
Yeah, well, I have a list of tons of congratulations. It's just so much has happened good in the district in the last few weeks, and things that are coming up. I guess I need to thank our new communications guy for all his social media posts. So I guess, Isabel and Haley, who are here tonight, on achieving the only 2 perfect scores in Wisconsin on that Word Master Challenge. Wasn't that out of like 170 or
125,000
students?
Yeah, it's just
I know, I saw that, and that's just
unbelievable.
amazing.
Yeah.
To Ben Strupp and Jake Anderson on the top finishes at the Skills USA Regional Contest. Our Holmen dance team for their outstanding season. And I guess specifically Kyra Moore on making the D1 All-State team. Congratulations to Cameron Demmel and the Viking locker room for becoming nationally recognized as the DECA Gold Certified School Board Enterprise. To Avery Bailey and Connor Strutz for receiving a $1,000 Supervised Agricultural Experience Grant. The girls wrestling team, Emily, great job making it to the podium, as well as Evelyn Vetch. It was a historic moment for the first ever girls state wrestling tournament. And I guess how amazing is it that we have Casey Pomeroy here in our district as a special ed teacher. She won the WXOW January School Tools for Schools award, and I know she's putting that to great use. And I guess take a moment to thank all the fantastic school counselors during last week's School Counselors Week. Thank you for everything you do to serve all of our students and making them feel seen, connected, and supported. And lastly, just a thank you to all of our bus drivers kids to and from our school safely with the Wisconsin School Bus Driver Appreciation Week this week. So, and good luck to Holmen Wrestling for their sectional tournament.
Thank you. Gary Dunlap.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. It's been good news. I'd like to thank the Student Services Group as well. Of course, I always look back to when I was in high school. We had a Student Services Group. There was one guy, I got to see him once when you were a senior, and he said, you know, well, you're probably fitted to go into a factory or be a farmer. You're never going to make it in school. And then next, that was the way the council is. Of course, Emily placed 5th in that state. She did awesome. She went into a pitting frenzy late in the day. And then she pinned a Aquinas boy the other day. She pinned him in 2 minutes. He didn't hardly have a chance. And then the 126-pound girl wrestled with the varsity boys, and she pinned her opponent against Aquinas. So it's got a good group of athletes over there that they all seem to be getting in really good shape. Glad COVID's down. We got rid of the masks. That seems really good. I hope that all the sacrifices we made had some impact on the people. We still had 161 people die in La Crosse County, which is a shame. And of course, everybody knows 900,000 in the nation. But I hope that all the sacrifices we made, when it started out, we didn't know where it was going or what was going to happen. It was kind of scary, so we did what we had to do to make sure everybody was safe. And I can sleep better at night because of what we did. What else? With the COVID and everything going on, I can just remember one thing my dad told me when I was a young guy again. And he said, he once told me that once you've seen the devil, the easier it is to see the angels. So I think things are coming our way, and things are going to get on the road. That's all I have.
Thank you, Gary. Gotta find my spot. Anita Jagosinski.
I'm always right after Gary. I wanted to congratulate the 2 students who were the 2 kids in the entire state who did so well at Word Masters. That's so amazing. I picture these kids like doing Wordle, like in their sleep. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's so cool. I know, and I'm all about recognizing athletics and FFA and everything else, but to have 2 girls in the middle school be the only 2 in the whole state, that is fantastic. And I wanted to say thank you to the whole transportation department, not just the bus drivers, because they're supported by so many people in that department. And thank you for all you do. And the counselor presentation was very interesting. I'm so glad to see that we're getting more involved with peace of mind and having that collaboration, because it's so vital. And the things that those counselors do, every school, every counseling department. I never really realized my oldest daughter is a high school counselor on the other side of the state, and I don't realize until I talk to her the things they do. It's not just what you see in their office. They take it home. That's their life. They, like teachers too, they truly care about every kid, and they put their soul into their job, which is, we're very, very fortunate for those individuals to be in our district. And other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca Reber.
Ditto on whatever Jennifer said, that was awesome. Yes, good luck to the wrestling team as well. And I thought, Emily, you would mention this, but World Tour Senior send-off, if you order from Barachos, I believe on Wednesday, 50 orders or more, we can mention that, if anybody orders from Barachos.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. World Tour gets 25% of the proceeds if there's 50 orders, if you mention World Tour for Holmen.
Okay.
So
That's a good percent.
We'll get that out there.
Yeah, that is.
And I do, like Emily saying, she said, just be respectful to everyone, no matter what their choice. So, good quote. So, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Brian Wopat.
I'd like to wish the best of luck to our 2 Word Master competitors as they move on to the next stage of competition. And I want to sincerely thank all those who work in student services across the district. I was really impressed with that concept of an integrated approach. And I think it's important these days that we have individuals that are trying so hard every day to make connections and to nurture relationships with our students. So thank you very much. And the last thing is that we do have a Student and Achievement and Learning Committee meeting next Monday coming up.
Yes, we do. And so thank you for that. We do have the committee meeting coming up. Jennifer, I know I was checking off things as you were going, so I did appreciate that, and just want to personally congratulate Emily and Evelyn. But Emily, congratulations, that's something, as old as I am, I remember the first state gymnastics meet and for women. And so being part of that, you may not, I think it will hit you, but in years to come, you'll remember that you were part of something like that historic, and you placed and you made the podium, so that's awesome too. I know Isabel and Haley, I was really pleased to see them come, and as middle schoolers, they showed their timidness, but boy, they must be some smart young women, and that kind of thing they have to be cultured or developed. I think they have to be developed. It doesn't just come. Some people can just be really smart, but unless they are positively developed and helped along the way, and I believe our staff and their families have done that, and then it comes back to Holmen, and it just makes us really proud for that. Welcome, Travis, as well. I have really enjoyed seeing all the posts that we've had, the positive posts about what's going on in the district. And I know the counselors, we had that, and the bus drivers will have, but I also noticed something that Holmen doesn't, sometimes people forget, but we have such an outstanding career tech program, and the CTE program. And February is Career Tech Ed Month. And, we have trades and technology area, we've got the business area, we've got the agriculture or agribusiness area, and then foods programs that go on. And we often hear from people in the community that we need to meet the needs of the workforce and the workplace and the communities, and I think that's one area where we really excel at. And I'm glad that we make a commitment to that as a district, as we do for the student services area. Not all school districts have the same ratios or the same numbers that we have, and we've had to, you hear it called the Holmen way from time to time, but it is true that we do make a commitment, a bigger commitment to that, to staffing, and it affects other things, but in the long run, it's the right thing to do. And finally, I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Mueller and your leadership team and the members of your health and COVID response team I know that you've been working on that for the past few weeks. Discussions had begun even before Omicron, but then that happened. Numbers were up there. We kept seeing them go up, and 166, I think, was the highest I saw. Hopefully it wasn't higher, but today is 22. And so it's amazing how fast that dropped. But I would also say nothing really has changed. It's not that the science has changed. We've just learned more in the past 2 years, and we're better at the mitigations that we have in place, and we're better at responding and knowing when we might need to make changes and that kind of thing. But I know that your work on that with your team has been deliberate, and it has been measured to make sure that we do it at the right time. And so I really appreciate that. And as you said, I heard a lot of happy young people knowing that they could come to school next week without masks. And my report back from Lucy, my granddaughter, was pretty much the same. Very happy. Caught herself without a mask once in the hallway, and she said, oh, and then she realized she didn't have to have it. But, there were some students who continued to wear masks, and she said she didn't see anyone be mean to them, which I was really glad to hear. So people are being respectful, and that's what we want, because it is optional. Although with my place of work, they're still highly recommending that people wear masks in my office or in my building. So we're continuing with that. So that's all I really had. Again, thank you, Dr. Mueller, and your team for that work. I would just note that you've received the board committee written reports for the finance committee. The meeting schedule, we've got another meeting on the 28th of February, and then March 14th, March 21st is the candidate forum, and a meeting on March 28th, and April 5th is the spring election. So with that, it would bring us to the closed session. Anita, would you read the motion for the closed session, please?
Nice to see your smiling face.
That the Board of Education hereby moves to adjourn into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. In this case, analysis of compensation for district positions of individual employees and the district administrator's evaluation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, and we'll have to do a roll call vote.
Okay, Jennifer Deek, Yes.
Gary Dunlap.
Yes.
Cheryl Hancock.
Yes.
I am a yes. Rebecca Reber. And Brian Wopat.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We will go into closed session in just a couple minutes, so thank you and have a good